He's muted. Johnny, you're muted.
All right, so I believe we're live right now. And so we have Rob Beasley, the Good Wolf, and we have Johnny, the Good Wolf as well, of course. And they're going to be talking about Islam and how Johnny has went from Islam to being a Christian and a flat earther. Hello. And how Rob wants to expose the Islam religion. I personally am against religion. I follow Jesus Christ. That is a faith, not a religion. And Jesus Christ was against religion. But anyways, and I believe in the flat earth. Thank you for the first viewer already here. All right, so you guys go ahead, and Rob, I'm going to leave it to you to explain the whole room. I'll be here to moderate. I won't really be talking much. I'll be interjecting with questions from the chat and also my own questions. But other than that, I'll be staying out of this. So if you want to learn about this, you're welcome. Thank you. Here we go.
All right, thank you, Rose. My name's Rob Beasley. I'm the author of What Is This Thing Called God? That's Religions Explained. Now let's talk about peace. So that's my book there on screen. The debate topic today, it's not a debate topic, it's a presentation by myself and Johnny, and I'll just give you an outline in a minute. So this is a video that I prepared for this presentation. So I'm going to give my perspective. Now, I'm not what you call a believer of things, but I'm a huge fan of the Jesus that we see in the Gnosis text, called the Gospel of Thomas. So that's me. So my premise is this: I absolutely abhor Islam as a religion, and I'm going to give my case for that. But at the same time, I absolutely love every Muslim on the planet, because Jesus teaches us to love our neighbor. Which neighbor? Every neighbor, right? We got to love each other. And our world needs that commitment to religion. So Jesus is, one of the finest spiritual teachers we've ever had. I say Islam must go. So I'm just going to run the video. I might pause if I see something that needs tweaking. Johnny may interject at any point that he wants to get some clarity. And Rose may also interject at any time she wants some clarity. What will happen after this video, my presentation, Johnny, who's an ex-Muslim, is going to share his knowledge and his experience. So his is much more of a deeper, detailed understanding of how the religion affected him or affects him. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. Rob Beasley, author of What Is This Thing Called God? I specifically wrote it in that format because I felt that at the core of religions, even though there's a lot of very confusing material, that the core of spirituality was about goodness. And so what happened was I was around when we had the Rwandan massacre of 1994, where 600 to 800,000 families, just normal human beings, basically went on a rampage killing each other. There was two communities, Tutsi and Hutu. And, it was such a horrific event. It made me wonder what on earth, hello, viewer number one. It made me wonder, what on earth are we fucking humans all about? So that's the basis for the book.
All right. So Johnny, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So do you want to explain to us how you got involved in Islam? And let's go from there so we can have a basis of this conversation. And thank you for sharing that, Rob. But let's get to the meat. Johnny, how did you get involved in Islam? Thank you.
Well, I was born into a Sunni Muslim family. My mom, although she's from Germany, She used to be more like of an agnostic and became a Sunni Muslim, just like my dad is, before my birth. And so I was brought up in Sunni Islam. I was basically brought up in Pakistan, and we were from a very early age instilled with the love and respect for the quote-unquote prophet of Islam, namely Muhammad. So that after a lot of brainwashing, we would never allow or never even think of Muhammad having any flaw in his character. According to Islam, Muhammad is the perfect example for all times and all generations. So that's basically how and then there's the so-called quote-unquote scientific miracles in the Quran, which got me impressed there for a while until the end of my teenage, right after September 11. That's when I came across a website, which was a Qurani or a Quran alone website. I was looking for miracles to substantiate Islam even further, kind of confirmation bias I had there. Then I found out that website didn't contain, though, any of the what is called sayings of Muhammad additional to the Quran, which are necessary for the faith overall. Now I had to make a hard decision. Either go with the Quran alone or keep on going with the hadiths and reject that mathematical quote-unquote miracle. At that moment, being a teenager and being naive, I said to myself, well, let's stop it all. I'd be a Qurani, something new, something, interesting, exciting. So I became that sect, became a follower of that sect of Islam. And I stayed such for about 7 to 8 years. But in between, I was listening to debates between Christians and Muslims. And for the first time in my life, I was now more open to listen to the Christian side because I separated myself from the Sunni Muhammad. I used to say, well, the Sunnis have their Muhammad, I as a Qurani have my own Muhammad. So slowly, gradually over time, I noticed the inconsistency until it all fell apart. I said, no, the Quran doesn't make sense.
I think you should wait. That's very important. That point, what brought you to Christianity was what? Can you please repeat that one more time?
I was listening to debates on answeringmuslims.com. There was like David Wood, there was Nabil Qureshi, there were all these people now debating the Muslims in a way that I had not seen before, because back then the Muslims, they always make sure they want to have a controlled debate. So they select the Christian debater and then you listen to them and then you laugh and things like that. But here it was different. We had the internet now. I found these guys. And
it was fair.
Yeah. So the arguments were pretty powerful. And I had to think about that. I had to think.
Beautiful. So when you had less censoring, you were able to get out of the that religion and realize there's something more that is here that I didn't realize before.
Exactly. And that, of course, led me to then read the articles that they had on answeringislam.org, because I had problems with the issue, understanding the triunity of God, for example. That always gave me some problem. But then I read the article, I read the Christian side, and I said, man, this is it. Now I get it. You see? And that, of course, completely removed my biased lenses that I had on, back even as a Qurani Muslim.
That is very, very powerful, Johnny. Wow.
On top of that, of course, there's verses in the Quran itself that stopped making sense to me and that went against Islam itself. For example, we find in the Quran a verse which says, let the people of the gospel judge by what Allah has revealed therein. And I finally had to ask myself, well, wait a minute. If Allah is asking the Christians to judge by the gospel, but then the gospel completely contradicts the Quran, how does that make any sense? And the only excuse that the Muslims keep presenting is, well, the gospel that you now have is corrupted. Well, then why is the Quran asking them? Why is the Quran asking the Christians to judge by a corrupted book? How does that make any sense?
Right. That's when you really have to break things down and say, well, who made that? Who said that? Why did he make it a law? And you really have to start asking questions. Why do you believe that? Why have we believed this? Just because he said that? Have you even looked into it? Does it even make sense? Is it hypocritical? The people don't like to ask those type of questions. They're scared because it might break their whole foundation of their generational mind control.
Yeah.
You have to realize that your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-great-grandparents, your mother, your father, your sister is all under that same control. It's very deep, very deep. So once you realized that, and then what happened once you were able to get a fair debate in your mind that you were able to listen to that wasn't controlled, how did you go from there?
As the years went by, all of a sudden I said, okay, this time I'm going to read the Gospel of John again, but with a more open mind. So I read it, and I felt something strange come over me, like I had not expected. And I always said to myself, well, Christianity is going to be the last religion or the last faith that I would ever believe in or put my trust in Jesus Christ. But here I was, and I was feeling the truth in there. And it did not take me a week or two after that, and I accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that was the beginning of my journey.
Wow. Oh my God, Johnny. That's so awesome. Wow.
Yeah, that was in 2011.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. Wow. So how does your family take that?
Well, within a year's time or so, praise to God for that, my mom also turned to Christ. She came out of Islam. And my dad, unfortunately, though, and my younger brother are still Muslims.
That's okay, but your mom is. All right.
So, yeah, did you want to add anything? Or did you want to add?
No, I was gonna I asked the questions I wanted to. I was gonna wait for Rob.
Okay.
Sorry, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, if you want to ask me any questions, anything.
Oh, okay. No, not at the minute.
Right.
I did want to talk about a couple of points if I could, if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So here's my take on Islam and why I find it obnoxious as a religion. So again, Muslim people have no grief with you at all, at all. Being a follower of Jesus, I love all humanity, without exception. Even the bad dudes, I love them, but I hate their egos. Now, so for me, what I observed, because I wrote the book and I was looking at history, and I found that the Jewish Persians from Jews, so the Babylonian Jews, were fighting with the Romans from about 136 AD right up to the birth of Islam. And at the birth of Islam, then Islam takes over the fight against the Roman Empire. And I saw that and I thought, right, this religion is not a religion based on, it's a political agenda. That's why it exists. There's 541 battles that the Islamic community, I guess, fought from that point until today, and they're still doing it. They're screwing us over. It's a bad, bad thing. So I thought, well, gee, I've got to try and prove that that's actually factually wrong. I mean, historically, what I just said, you can verify, because that's exactly what happened in history. You had this changeover from the Persian Jews to Islam in terms of the relationship and fighting with Rome. But I thought there must be a better way to extend on the proof. So what I did, I was familiar with the book of Daniel. Now, it's the book of Daniel that introduces for the first time a figure called the angel Gabriel. Now, you can look this up. You go to Yale, a professor by the name of Dr. Martin teaches what I'm about to say. I'm firmly convinced that this is what happened. What happens in the book of Daniel, we're told that Daniel is a bit of a Jewish hero in Babylon, and he's there until 538 BC when the Jews leave Babylon, and he has these prophecies, predictions. And for me personally, being a pure spiritualist, I don't believe in things like prophecy. But, you know, if I don't believe something, I want to find, there's got to be another reason for it. Well, I think the reason was that it was written after all of the events it predicts. So what I mean by that is we're told in the Bible that Daniel at 538 BC predicts all these events that actually occur, and they actually truly do occur. And he hides the book or something, and, you know, then it magically materializes around 160 BC, which is the last period or the last event in the predictions. So what I believe very strongly is that that particular book of Daniel was written by humans after the events that it allegedly predicts, and then they just told everyone that it was written back in the days of Babylon. So what we have is a forgery of prophecy. Now that's only one. I can give you a number of examples of the same phenomena, and I can give good evidence for that. That what people have done in the Old Testament, the Jewish tradition, they lied to create these bloody prophecies. Now, why is that interesting to this discussion? Well, if it's true, what I'm saying is true, and it's got scholarly backing, so it's not just me. If what I'm saying is true, then it must follow that Angel Gabriel is a fabrication. In other words, there's no fucking such thing as Angel Gabriel. If that's the case, then when we come across to Islam, right, or to Muhammad, he's lied because it's a fabrication. And that makes more sense to me. Now, when you actually read the Quran, so I'll just make this an overview, I won't get any detail because it'll take up too much time. But when you actually look at the Quran, it's very, 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 very evident that it was written from the mindset of a 7th century Arabian or that sort of era male human being. For example, God, Allah, right, creates virgins. Virgins, doesn't say 72, but it says creates virgins for the males when they die and go to paradise. When I saw that, I thought, that's crap, because from a purely spiritual point of view, males and females are 100% equal, 100%. So if this Allah, God, was fair income, what he would do is he'd give the girls some sex toys as well. But also from a spiritual point of view, sex isn't the high agenda. It's just a bit of fun or to make, procreation. The real thing in true spirituality is love, love, love. So, it just, I feel with great conviction, this religion is a load of crap. And here's another thing, right? They ask people to pray 5 times a day or something. I think Johnny can correct me. But that's bullshit. That doesn't do anything for you spiritually, this praying to invisible sky daddies. What works for you is just living truthfully, loving honestly. Those are the things that do. And this is what Jesus taught. So what I'm pleading Muslims to do is really examine in heavy detail. Sorry, I did say about the 7th century thing. I just want to recap on that. Go and have a look at your Quran. Have a look at things like fucking demons. Is it demons? Devils? Devils get chased by stars. You can clearly see that's the mindset of what a person thought their reality was in 7th century BC. There's a good site called... there's probably a bunch of them. They pick up on the flaws in the Quran, and there is a lot of them. But what they all do, in summary, is they reflect that it's written by 7th century people. It's written by 7th century people. So it's not written by a god, right? Or whatever. It's not written by Angel Gabriel, because we now know that that's a questionable premise. So why does it exist? Well, I'll tell you why it exists. It's a cult. It's a political cult for political control and political warfare.
All right.
It's
so, Rob,
to do with God. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. All right. So, did you have any questions for Johnny?
For Johnny, yeah, I'd like Johnny to perhaps share with our viewers a little bit of. So I'm giving a bit of a very hard brush on why I think it's a bad cultish religion, but I'm just wondering for Johnny, does that sort of slant on Islam, is it reflected in any way, or does he think that I might be barking up the wrong tree, or did he see examples of cultish type practice?
Well, let me put it this way. Well, of course, as a Christian, I have to accept that the angel Gabriel is a legit angel. I would just say that Muhammad did not hear from an angel of God. Rather, the pattern, if you analyze in the book of Ibn Ishaq, how he was snoring like a camel, rolling on the floor, having suicidal thoughts, those are all what we would consider demonic patterns. It is demonic behavior. He was demon possessed from the get-go. And it was actually a heretic, what we would consider a heretic Nestorian, likely, a Nestorian monk named Waraka bin Nawfal, who then pushed Muhammad to say that he is a prophet. Probably because he wanted to get back at the Christians. He wanted to prop up Muhammad, claiming him to be a prophet, knowing well, perhaps, that he is demon-possessed also. And we see that...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but what do you want to say?
I was just going to say, that story about Aisha, it seems to be supported, was it consort at 6 and then, or wed at 6 and then sex at 9, or is that wrong?
Yeah, that came later. That was not his first wife, was Khadija. She was much older than him. But yes, he then asked Abu Bakr, his first companion, to give him his daughter, which she was, 6, and he consummated at 9 when she was still playing with dolls, it says in the Hadith literature.
See, Johnny, that's spiritually fucking fault. That's wrong on a number of levels. That's just terrible, terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Innocence. You do not mess with innocence. You do not. No one should ever.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of sexual innuendos throughout his life. I mean, even if you look at the beginning with his wife Khadija, imagine how he performed the test of whether he saw an angel. Well, Khadija said to him, okay, she placed this one thigh on his shoulder and says, do you see still see the angel? And he said, yes, I still see him. He places the other thigh, asks him the same question. He says, yes, I still see him. And then she gets with him into a sexual position. And then asks him, now do you see him? And Muhammad says, no. Well, Muhammad, that is an angel, because angels do not invade the privacy or leave when we as husband and wife get private with each other. Look, I mean, this is a book. You'll find these kind of stories time and time again. Later on, you find, for example, Muhammad not knowing whether he had sex with his wives or he didn't. He was so much under the influence of black magic from a Jewish man, supposedly. So right there, the blame goes, of course, towards the Jews, but you can see already what kind of fantasies and what kind of imaginations, hallucinations Muhammad had throughout his life, or specifically through to that black magic supposedly done on him.
Well, it's interesting that you said that there was a Jewish connection, because, that may have some connection to my story, and this is historically accurate, that the Persian Jews were fighting against the Roman Empire for quite a long time, and then bingo, it changes to Islam. So there seems to be, I mean, I haven't studied this, so I can't say, but it's just what we're talking about now. It seems to be that there's some sort of a connection between the two, the Jewish and the Islam, the Jews and the early creation of Islam. Seems to be some sort of connection.
There is actually, and here it is. For example, circumcision, the continuation of circumcision is very strong in Islam. They continue what we would consider the old covenant laws that have been made obsolete. And in the new covenant, Muslims continue with that, especially. So in that sense, the Jews and Muslims get close with each other. And we can see this even today, where rabbis like Tobias Singer, they want to join back with the Muslims and destroy Christianity because of this. You see, so then on one hand, of course, the Muslims, they hate the Jews, because of the power and things like that. But then when it comes to rituals and theology, Islam is very close to modern day, what we consider heretical Judaism.
Yeah, it's a funny story, but it's, things to start to make sense, And if you throw Jesus into the mix, now he was a Jew and an enlightened Jew, probably our best spiritual teacher. If you throw him into the mix, the solution to these problems is to get everyone to come and reinvest time to come to know Jesus, in my opinion. So that then says, so the Jewish people, instead of castigating Jesus, they should hold him high. The Christian people can hold him high. And because we've got this thing called the Injil, now I want to talk to that too before we finish, but because we've got this Injil, which is the gospel of Jesus, respected by Islam, we can say, yes, everybody respecting Jesus is a good thing for our human society.
One of the main reasons why we as Christians consider Islam so dangerous of a heresy is because it basically starts off appeasing Christians, like saying, we believe Jesus is the mightiest messenger. He performed this and this miracle. Even his mother, Virgin Mary, they respect her a lot. But then they outright deny some of the most core essential elements of Christianity. Namely, they say, but don't believe that he was crucified. Don't believe that he resurrected. Don't believe that he is the Son of God or God. Don't believe any of those. If you believe that he is the Son of God, in fact, you will burn in hell forever. That's straight out of the Quran. Now, obviously, such an essential element which you need in Christianity to be having eternal life is outright denied in Islam and is actually something that condemns you. It is one of the unforgivable sin in Islam.
I think I know why that is, and it's an indicator that Islam is a false religion. What I think happened is that because remember, we see on the historical record that Islam begins a campaign that still runs today against the Roman Empire or its elements. I think what happened is someone, maybe there was Jewish persuasion involved, and I actually think the Jewish persuasion was there because they talk about the gospel of Jesus, and I think the Jewish people knew that story, so that's why I think that was included. But I think the reason why you get, sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts for a second. Oh, yeah, so the reason, it's politically motivated. It's politically motivated. And what they did is they copied from the Bible, but they changed elements so that they could claim their religion as unique. In other words, they were trying to steal the God of Christianity. That's what I think their agenda was.
But it seems that they did a very bad job because Muhammad, for example, messed up when he called... Oh, just give me a moment there.
Yeah. Hey, Biggie, how you doing? He's asleep.
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanted to say this, that he messed up completely when he says in the Quran that Mary, the mother of Christ, the Holy Virgin, he was on one hand the daughter of Amran, and then the sister of Aaron. Both these things are mentioned in the Quran. In other words, Muhammad thought that this Mary, the Holy Mother, of Jesus, was actually the same as the sister of Aaron, also named Maryam in Arabic.
Yes.
Miriam.
I've seen that, Johnny. I've seen that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So there you go. And he was actually asked, or somebody asked Aisha about this, and she just said, "No, well, Muhammad knows better. You better shut up." And then of course, he had to then say, "Well, okay, well, then if Muhammad said so, then so be it." Right? But there you can see the anachronism right there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So the other thing I just wanted to sort of probably conclude my input. I think this Gospel of Thomas, this Gnostic, well, I don't like the term Gnostic, and I'll tell you why. Because the Gnostic texts are a bit of a mix between true knowledge and a lot of fucking rubbish that came down from the Persian Jewish history line. So, and I think it was a collection that the Nag Hammadi find, I think they were a collection that belonged to a guy called Valentinius or something of that thing. And then in 320 it was buried out in Egypt and stayed there till we found it in 1945. But within that collection is 114 sayings by Jesus that should be called the Gospel of Jesus. I mean, it's very evident that that's a misnomer to call it the Gospel of Thomas, because it's really the Gospel of Jesus recorded by Thomas. He's the pen man. I hold a view with great conviction now, because I understand the teachings and they seem to map perfectly to our spiritual reality. Absolutely perfect. So that tells me that these came from a great spiritual teacher. And I'm saying that this Gospel of Thomas is the Injil that they speak of, because what they also say in Islam is that it was corrupted. Now, we know for fact that 61 of those 114 sayings actually appear in the New Testament. And they were bastardized, and I can give examples, but I won't now. But so it fits the description that we hear from the Quran. Further, there's a thing called Q-source theory. Q-source theory says that there must have been a sayings listing, or Jesus sayings listing, that were used to construct the Synoptic Gospels. Once again, this Gospel of Thomas fits perfectly to that model. So that's an academic theory that was produced in about, well, it was produced 100 years before anyone knew about the Gospel of Thomas. You know, so what I would like to say to Muslims is this: please, please, please have a look at this Injil. Study it carefully. If you buy my book, I do all the interpretive work for you. Have a look at it, because I feel very strongly that it's a great spiritual, it's a true spiritual guide for humanity from Jesus himself. Please consider that, and please consider shutting down Islam. It's a
All right.
fucking...
All right. So, Johnny, thank you, Rob, for all that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, thank you. So, Johnny, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just also say for people to please also read the New Testament, right, and see if you find truth in there.
Well, why the New Testament? Why do you recommend that?
Because first of all, when I personally read it, I was astounded by it, especially the Gospel of John. I would ask anyone to start with that.
What about the King James Version? Do you have a problem with that, or just a New Testament?
I would say the King James. That's what I meant. The New Testament King James is the best English translation to date. There might be in the future some other, but to this date we have either the King James or, if you cannot understand the King James because of the Old English, the New King James would be the second best, and then the ESV. But I would stay away from the NIV and the NASB as well.
And why would you stay away from that? Just for people to understand.
Well, the reason is because there has been, according to my analysis, some manipulation, and at some places there have been verses that have been removed. For example, 1 John 5:7 is now claimed to have not been a legit verse because it supposedly not exists in the earliest manuscripts. But of course, that's not how it works. We have at least one church father who quoted, as if from scripture, this passage where it says that there's three in heaven that bear witness, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, and the three are one. And that is, of course, missing in the modern, claiming that is not found in the oldest. They go, I think, by the Alexandrian text. That is, and there's a whole discussion on that on the internet that people can see about the text, why the Byzantine text is supposed to be the best and not the received text is the best and not the Alexandrian text, that is. And what makes me very suspicious is that for almost 1800 years it was perfectly fine. The church was reading those texts, and then all of a sudden in the 18th, 19th century, when we know that evolution came about, and all this other nonsense came about, then all of a sudden these scholars come up, Westcott and Hort, who actually were promoted or at least acknowledged evolution to a degree, acknowledged Darwinism to a degree. Also, you can find it out there. I think it was Westcott who did that. You find screenshots of him in his letters writing about that. The same guy now makes these translations, or is on board with these new translations, and with all those missing verses and sometimes even more passages. Obviously, if you put 1 and 2 and 2 together, you would see that there's something fishy going on. This is why I would not recommend that.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly. So there's really a lot of fishy things going on in the world. Period. I mean, there's a lot of things we have to keep our eye out for and be like, hold on, who said that? Who are you? Like NASA is run by Nazi scientists that got away with murder. They should have been all on trial. Why did thousands of them escape and come to America and start up the CIA and NASA? And then we say our reality is based on what their perception that they tell us is. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Vatican has a telescope named Lucifer. So we're supposed to believe anything that the telescope named Lucifer is going to tell us about our reality? I don't think so.
That's the thing. Good that you mentioned.
But
hold on, Rob. Hold on.
Me first.
Rob.
Yes.
My house, my rules. Hold on.
Okay.
Johnny. Right?
Yeah, you brought up Lucifer. I wanted to bring up, very early on in the Roman Catholic, in the western part of the Catholic Church, they had a saint named Lucifer Cagliari. But I asked one of my Orthodox brothers about him, and he said, we have no such saint. So it seems that from very early on, there was something going on in the Roman part, in the western branch. They were already doing something that is not right. Because Lucifer is not supposed to be used for any good thing, because it has been declared, as we find in Isaiah,
right,
for that negative entity. It has been set. And this is even understood by conservative Orthodox brothers and sisters of mine. They understand this very well.
Yep.
So nobody should fall for this new claim, because if you ask a Latin Catholic, they will just say, well, Lucifer just means the light bearer. So what? It's just
they're trying to make it sound pretty. They try to act like big deal. What's the big deal? He's the light barrier. He's bringing light. And it's like, no, hold on.
Exactly. They use it for Christ now, and that really makes a mockery of Christ, because these people now fully accept evolution. They are fully on board with an old earth, and of course they are fully on board with the globe ever since. Now, if you read the church fathers, you will find at the very minimum they would have denied the antipodes, which means they denied that people ever lived on the opposite side. Now, they had already some influence from the Greek philosophies of the sphere. Other church fathers did not. They remained solid. No, that the earth indeed is flat. And therefore, it is important for us to completely shake off any sense of a spherical earth.
That's right. That's right. Because the people who are pushing the round earth are the ones that pray and worship Lucifer. So, all right. So, Rob, you've been very patient. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Rose,
I'm sure you have a lot to say, so I'm going to mute myself. And so this is my point for you. So if you can try to stay on this point, I'd appreciate it. What is Lucifer to you, Rob? And do you believe in Lucifer? And do you think others should believe in Lucifer? And what is your take on that?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha, Rose. So yeah. See, I'm sorry, but I don't believe in, fairy tale stories and books.
So then be quiet. So you don't believe in Lucifer?
No. Well, can I finish or not?
Well, now you just you started to sound like an atheist, and I want to hit delete.
No, I have an answer. I do have a definition of what Lucifer is.
Okay. Answer the question. Thank you.
All right. So I don't believe in the fairy tale stories. I just don't. That's just not me. I have to be in reality. So, but what is this thing called Lucifer? Look at my
reality.
book.
You're a reality. Okay.
I'm a reality bunny.
No, what is your reality?
No, the reality. The reality. There's only one.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So look at my book. I said, what is this thing called God? And I really hit the nail on the head. So now there is a thing called Lucifer. What is it? Well, it turns out that it's inside us all, just like the goodness is inside us all. It's a survival instinct that only gives a shit about the self. So everything that's evil on this fucking planet is based on this self-survival instinct. It creates everything. It's the devil. It's It creates egos. It creates all the strife in this world. So if you say to me, is there such a thing as Lucifer? I'll say, yes, there fucking is. And I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's this self-survival instinct that couldn't give a fuck about anyone else. Now, the other instinct in humans, the instinct of the herd, doesn't give a stuff about the self. It cares about everyone else. So it's the complete inverse. So one is this thing called God, and the other is this thing called evil or devil or whatever you want to call it. So it's very, 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 very real. And it's the foundation of all bad things. Egos, selfishness, empires, all the same model. Look at an empire, it's a fucking pyramid. It just cares about the prick at the top. All right? Doesn't give a stuff about anyone else. Treats them like dirt, takes all their money, makes them work like slaves. So yes, there is a Lucifer, and it's inside us all. Don't feed the bastards, people. Live with truth and love, love, love. I love you, Rose. I've finished now. That's it. That's my explanation. What, have I just stunned the room, have I?
All right. No, I'm here.
Right.
Rose, are you there too?
Rose is not talking. She might be pissed off at me.
I believe as a Christian that Lucifer was a real fallen angel, a demonic. He became demonic. He's the leader of the demons. And I believe that he does possess people through his minions. And then they do all kinds of evil things more than they would otherwise do. And we all know that is the pattern, like I said in the beginning, that Muhammad observed. Demon possession has a specific pattern as well. But
it does. So, you're correct.
Yeah, so that's what we believe in regards to Lucifer. And we do not see it fit for that term, God forbid, to be used for Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, at all.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Jesus is a soul man. Jesus is love personified. He loves everyone else, and he sacrifices himself for everyone else. So he is the good wolf in my good wolf story, and the the other part is this selfishness. So that pattern you're talking about, that rose pattern, is selfishness. That's the thing that defines everything that's evil. In my book. And my book is What is This Thing Called God? Available on Amazon.com.
Oh, before I forget, I need to bring up the wife-beating issue. In Islam, there is actually a verse. It's in chapter 4, verse number 34, very famous verse now. It says, not only does it give permission to beat disobedient wife, but it actually asks if a husband fears, just fears, not that he has evidence or knows that she does any such rebellious thing, but if he just fears that she is in rebellion or has a rebellious attitude, he is to admonish her, to separate her in bed, and to beat her. That's how.
Yeah, I've read that, Johnny. I confirm 100% exactly what you said. It's exactly what's written in the book.
That's right. And so what kind of lies do you want to expose, Johnny? What would be like the 3 most major lies you want to expose about Islam? And then, Rob, I'm going to ask you the same question.
Well, I would say one of them is the greatest lie, I would say, is that, in Islam it teaches you not to lie. That would be one of the greatest lies itself. The claim that Islam doesn't allow you to lie, because Islam allows you to lie in at least 3 instances. Number 1, in war. Number 2, to keep the harmony between your friends. And number 3, to keep the harmony between your family. So one would ask, what is left after that? It almost covers everything. You can lie to your wife, you can lie to your family, you can lie to your friends just to keep the harmony. That's why Muslim countries don't even trust each other, because they know that they have this kind of attitude, and then they just make it was to keep the harmony. That's why I lie.
So so pretty much you have an excuse to lie all across the board. You can lie about anything and still say that you're staying in your religion.
Exactly. And you can say, I did it to keep the harmony.
And Jesus Christ said, I am the way and the truth.
Yeah, exactly, Rose. You hit the nail on the head. Yeah. This is spiritual murder is what Islam. If that's what they teach in Islam, that's spiritual murder, because it's about truth. Our spiritual journey in life is about authenticity, truth, and love. You know, so So Johnny, did you finish your 3, or did you have some more?
Yeah, that Islam is a peaceful religion is another lie. Islam is a religion of peace. Well, we can say it's a half lie, because they can play with the definition of peace. They'll say, yeah, if everybody is suppressed, subjugated under Islamic Sharia law, where their hands will be cut off, the wives will be beaten if they're not disobedient, they have to be covered up from head to toe in public, the Christians and Jews have to be shamed and pay a special penalty tax, and then everything is peaceful. Yeah, according to that definition of peaceful, Islam is a religion of peace, but otherwise it's a complete deception. So that's another one.
Well, the historical record, Johnny, shows very clearly that it's probably been at war more than any other group, even probably more than the Christians. 541 odd wars. And if you don't believe me, go to politicalislam.com and it's all laid out for you there. So that's a nightmare, and I agree. Yeah. Anything else, Johnny?
Well, I mean, that Muhammad is the greatest example for all humanity. If you want to consider a man that married a 6-year-old and consummate, not even married, actually the Arabic word that's used is nakah, to penetrate, to engage in sexual intercourse, actually. And that word is found throughout the Quran, by the way. So the lie you can also say is that Muslims, whenever they translate marriage in the Quran, it actually means to F. Okay, or yeah. That's what the word of a sexual contract, because the word nakah.
So to me, when you say that, it takes the whole love aspect out of it. It's just the act. It's not even about loving somebody, adoring somebody, cherishing somebody, or anything like that. It's just the act or marriage. You know?
Right. Yeah, well, that Muhammad even allowed for temporary. They call it temporary marriage. It's a temporary pleasure to use the body
temporary
part.
Be married. Temporary?
Yeah, you have that in the Quran. Sunnis will say Muhammad allowed it for a while. Shias have it to this day. What you do there is you say, I want to sleep with you. I want to make a contact with you for 5 minutes.
Oh, God, that is so disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's like that's prostitution.
Yeah, but that's pleasure marriage or pleasure.
Yeah, but that's prostitution.
Right. It's legal prostitution, perfectly okay in the early days of Islam and among Muslims to this day.
I'm sorry, people. I just didn't know about that. Wow. I'm kind of shocked.
From a spiritualist point of view, Rose, the best life that you can have is when you have true love, and you and I know what true love is, right? And Johnny does.
I never had true love. I thought I did, but I didn't.
No, you got it with me. True love is the same thing.
Well, I think true love is supposed to be back and forth, right?
Yeah, well...
Well, you might find true love in me, but that doesn't mean I find true love in you.
Yes, you do.
Well, it depends on what do you mean by that.
No. But anyway, you must, people, listen up. You must establish true love before you have sex.
All right.
You must.
Okay, now you're following Islam. No, I'm playing. All right, so Johnny.
No.
I'm playing.
Oh, all right, okay. All right. Sorry. I'm a bit slow.
I have a sense of humor. Come on. Right. So, Johnny.
Yes.
All right. So basically, it sounds like a woman is treated like a like a just shit.
Yeah.
I've actually seen pictures. Now, I just have a question. I don't even know what this means. I just have a question. I seen a guy in a picture walking with 3 women in a full Muslim garb, right? Like the head covering and everything. And they were chained. And there's 3 women. They were chained by their ankles. And he was holding the chain, and he was walking the 3 women prisoners. What is that?
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
What is that? Is that Islam?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. What is that?
a man can basically, you see, the thing is, Islam is very tricky and deceptive when it comes to that. On one hand, it will make a lot of promises to women, like, oh, you will have, like, you will be able to own, you know, your own property, you know, the woman, you don't have to share anything with your husband. Once, what she doesn't know is the fine print that the husband can be.
So that sounds like Hollywood. That sounds like Hollywood. Look, we're going to make you a famous person. All you have to do is sign your name right here, but then you're going to be harassed by a million paparazzis. We're going to take your picture. Your soul is owned. And, you know, you're going to do all these things because now we own you. Because you want to be famous.
I mean, the husband completely has her under control. She can't do anything. He can just beat her up. When the husband says, give me your money now, I want to buy something. She doesn't. He can just say, disloyalty. I'll beat you up.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So there's a lot of fine print in there that people miss, and they fall for it every time, unfortunately.
And what's that thing that before you get married, the husband can say, okay, you're going to give me $5,000, and plus you're
dowry.
Yeah.
It's marriage that is practiced by the Shia sect of Islam to this day, and Muhammad once allowed it. Even to the Sunnis, he did allow it for a while, temporary marriage, they call it, or temporary pleasure, and Shias will defend it with all their might. They will say, well, what will a man do? For example, I am in an office and I'm away from home, you know, and I want to have some pleasure with that woman sitting next to me. So I can make a contact for, let's say, an hour or a day, perhaps, and then it will be over, you know.
Yeah, but that's way wrong. Because from a spiritualist point of view and the Jesus teachings that I go by, humans are all equal, and that includes male, female. So, you know, that's very disrespectful to that other person in their life. It's fucking way wrong. So I know now, listening to all of this, I'm damn sure Islam is a load of bullshit.
Well,
it has to go.
There's actually something more that in Islam that make you even more. It's even more disgusting. It's called Rida al-Kabir. It means the adult breastfeeding. Now, what that is that Muhammad allowed that a adult man, if he wants to, because in Islam you're not allowed to sit with a strange woman, right? She has to be all covered up and all those things. Now, to make it happen that she is your relative now, in a sense that you cannot marry her, you go and suck her breast 10 times.
What the hell?
Once that is done.
What is that supposed to do?
Well, that's supposed to make you like a baby, you know. A baby gets sucked off, and then you are like you're related. Now you can marry her. Now you can, you know.
Crazy. Weird.
Yeah, not wrong. What if you only suck 9 times? What happens then? Do you sort of go to hell, or
you're done?
It has to be satisfied.
NASA is going to look at you through the Luciferian telescope.
Before I forget, in Islam, you know, they used to boast about, you know, the flat earth, but the problem is in the Islamic concept of the flat earth, they did not have the sun going down in a muddy spring of water, which we all know that the sun doesn't go down, but it keeps circling above the earth. So the Muslims have got it wrong there too. They tried to copy that, you know, from the Bible, like they always do, but then they made mistakes along the way there as well. Right.
They always make mistakes, Johnny. That's the beauty of it. They always make mistakes. Always.
Yeah.
You know, anything. You see, they're so self-absorbed and self-worshiping and you know, service to self, that they don't think that, you know what, maybe somebody else can take the same thing you're doing and turn it around and use it against you. And yeah. So anyways. Jesus is going to reign supreme over everything.
Can I do my 3?
Go ahead. Whatever, Rob.
Whatever. Thank you, Miss Rob.
I love you, Rob. All right, so what are you going to talk about, Rob?
Well, I'll just give my 3 reasons, key reasons why I think Islam is a piece of shit.
Let's go.
Let's go.
One.
So, number 1, the way women are disrespected. I absolutely hate it. As humans, we are spiritually equal, period. No argument on that point. So,
and hold on, I want to add,
yeah,
male or female, whatever, dude. It doesn't really matter. Does it matter? No. When people are trying to kill you with chemtrails, vaccinations, mind control through your TV, Wi-Fi, Satanist, ritual sacrifices and all that, does it really matter? No, doesn't.
No, but to me it matters that people are respected spiritually as equals. And Jesus, because Jesus said that. Now, that when ladies have to wear that bloody, like a postbox type outfit and the cover up,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the hijab or whatever, when they do that, that's, for me, I find that offensive. I know that it's a political statement, so it's a way of sort of saying, we're Muslims, here we are, and they hide behind that, some sort of so-called moral reason. But the thing is this: we're children of nature, children of the living Father. That's who we are. Mm-hmm. And our bodies need sunshine. So to Muslim ladies everywhere, it's a load of fucking bullshit. Get rid of the outfit. Get rid of the outfit. Get your bikinis out. Get your bikinis out. Because Jesus said to stand naked. Right now, that doesn't mean ladies don't go do that, but it means stand proud and natural before everyone. That's the way towards enlightenment. So that's the ladies one that I don't like. What was the other ones? The other couple about Islam that really knocks me. We spoke about its political thing. Right. I'm damn sure that this is a bankrupt cult because it teaches all of the things that feed the bad wolf. What I mean by that, it's self-centered. It actually teaches people to divide people up. So the Islam people versus the non-believers. That's friggin' wrong. The golden rule says we treat every human on the planet, male, female, black, white, pink, purple, some with polka dots, doesn't matter. Treat them all the same. Love them equally.
All right.
Huh? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So what's your point? So you have a question for Johnny or what?
I just got one more point to make.
One more, because it actually 3:48. I said I was going to do exactly an hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Sorry.
3:48. So we have 2 minutes. Go ahead and ask a question.
So I did that. Oh, Bucky, I wish you wouldn't do that. Anyway, no, that'll do. I'm done.
No, ask one more question. Go ahead.
I can't remember.
All right, Johnny, go ahead. What do you have to say about Islam?
Yeah, thank you. No,
Take your time. Take your time, bro.
Yeah. Right. Well, we've mentioned quite a bit, but there's a lot more how Islam, of course, they call it it's either the hijab or the full, the burqa, the niqab, where the woman is also covered on the face. The thing is, some Muslims would argue, they say, well, that is not really Islamic. Well, if you read the Quran, you will see the Quran actually says that a woman should cover all parts of her body except what is necessarily visible. That means anything that is basically necessary. So you can actually make an argument that even only one eye should be shown. And even that eye can be covered by a net, because if you cover the eye by a net, you can still see it.
True.
So that's it. So everything else,
just have one eye, and then you have Lucifer.
Yeah.
The bad wolf. The bad wolf.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Johnny. You're on a tangent. I don't like it. Go ahead.
So that's what that is. And then, of course, there's many, you find a lot of, Muslims always, they pride themselves, oh, we are so modest, we don't talk about sexual stuff. But Muhammad's wives themselves, they used to bathe, and show the companions of Muhammad, look, this is how you bathe, this is how you wash yourself. Muhammad, he put his head between the thighs of 9-year-old Aisha when she was menstruating, putting a sheet in between and saying, look, then it's okay if you put a sheet in between. He did all kinds of sexual pervert stuff with his 9-year-old child bride. you know, and you know,
Right,
Muslims they get angry when these things are brought up. You see, with Islam, all you really need to do is you don't even need to exaggerate. I say just quote their literature to them. That's it. That's it. It would be so embarrassing at a point that a Muslim would have to have a breakdown, and he would either be dishonest or he would have to leave Islam if he's honest with himself or herself. Just no other way. Islam is a complete mess. It's just that people have been brainwashed from such a young age into respecting, like I said earlier in the beginning, that Muhammad is such a great guy that they then fear, you know. It becomes like almost Stockholm syndrome, you see.
Johnny, I honestly feel this, you know, from the depths of my soul, that if the people, oh, that was what I was going to say, right? I observed some photos where Muslims sort of, you know, when they're doing prayer, they pray in these large groups and it's all nicely lined out. When I saw that, I thought, bloody hell, this is like the cult of North Korea. So that's another reason I knew this is fucking wrong. And the 5 prayers a day just doesn't do anything for me. But here's what I'd like to say to the Muslim people, and I mean it quite sincerely. You will gain so much more. And Johnny, I'd like to hear your comments because you moved away from Islam. You would gain so much more, you know, by considering following the Injil of Jesus, moving away from Islam, and you'll shake off bondage. You'll embrace a better outcome. You'll be friends with people instead of bloody living a bit of a, you know, what is it? It's sort of like a duality role, almost schizophrenic, where you sort of got to be nice to your own and nasty to the rest, or secretive and all that sort of shit. You'll lose all of that baggage that really robs you of this wonderful, you know, we only get one, well, from my perspective, not the other guys, but you only get this one life experience. And it's a true joy to live the enlightened life that we enjoy. It's a true joy to live that life and just to love your humanity and spend your life helping them and all of that. So to the people in Islam, please consider taking a good hard look at, you know, your tradition and give some thought to it, because there's a much, 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 much better way. And it's real. It's not fake. Okay, Johnny. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, mate. No worries. Eid to reboot. Okay, so Johnny's just got a reboot. He'll be back in a second. So what I'd like Johnny to comment on, I asked him, and I would just like to hear from him if his life has improved since leaving Islam. Welcome back, Johnny.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can, mate. Johnny, could you just...
No, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Let me do that
can
again.
you hear me? You can hear me? Oh, okay. In and out, in and out. Say no to Islam. Say yes to Jesus. Welcome back, Johnny. Can you hear me? You're on mute, mate.
All right, can you say something?
1, 2, 3, 4,
I
5.
still can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Do that again.
Hey, Rose, can you hear me? Rose. Rose. Rose.
Yeah.
Rose.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry.
Okay, now it's better, right? Can you hear me now?
Hey, what's up, Johnny? Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
I can hear you, Johnny. I can hear you.
Just
Johnny,
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Johnny, I
Johnny.
just
in regards to the 5 prayers.
Hold on. Johnny.
want to ask you a question, Johnny.
I
Yeah,
wanted to
sorry,
say,
bro.
the 5 prayers you mentioned, the timings, actually, they got that from the Zoroastrians. That's where they copied those timings from. It's not even original.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow, you have no idea how important what you just said is.
Yep.
Well, maybe you do.
Well, no,
Mate,
Johnny
you-
knows. He's enlightened, dude.
No, but this is sort of, you know, historically. Johnny, the bloody Zoroastrians, the Persians, right? They were the ones that owned the Zoroastrian religion.
Mm.
They took over Judaism in the takeover of Babylon. And to this day, I've not seen anything to show to me that it's gone back to the Jewish people.
Mm.
And So that's Zoroastrianism, and they were the ones that brought in the idea of resurrection. You know, so very interesting. So, Johnny, can you tell us or tell the audience, what was your experience leaving Islam to where you are today? Has your life improved? Has it been a positive experience?
I would say definitely so. Yeah, it's been a great, you know, spiritually speaking, it is a difference of night and day. You know.
Yeah. All right, well done, mate. It's good to hear. I mean, just talking to you, I can tell your spiritual maturity. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Rose confirms.
Of course.
So I'm glad for you, mate. I'm glad for you. I think it's been a good choice that you made, and we would hope that a lot more people from Islam
Speak up.
Yeah, speak up. Come on,
Yeah.
rock.
It takes a lot of courage for what Johnny is doing. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's like most things. It looks like a mighty big step, but when you actually take the step, it's not as bad as hard as you think. It's like a
No, it's not. But it seems like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like it's so dreadful. Oh my God, I don't want to do that. It's too much work. But actually, it's really good.
Yeah, 100%.
It's okay. I'd rather be on this side than that side.
That's a crazy. Like Johnny's introduced me to things I didn't realise, and it's just shocking. You know, the way they treat their women. They should be, you know, not nice things. All right, what do you think, guys? I think that was a really good show. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I really, really, truly did.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of information today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Well, we might have a chat, you know, and see if there's something else we want to do in the future. But for me personally, that was an excellent show, Rose, and extremely well run. Thank you, Rosie.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I have to end this. It's been an hour. We started at 2:50. It's almost 4. So any closing arguments or any closing philosophy you want to share with anybody?
I'll just say it one more time. I fucking hate Islam, but I truly, truly love Muslims. That's my point.
All right. And Johnny?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the same thing. I absolutely despise Islam, but yes, we must love Muslims, we must care for them, and we must show them the truth. And if they are honest with themselves, they will see the truth. Showing them their own material, they will realize how disgusting and ugly Islam really is, and hopefully they'll come to mercy.
Wow, Johnny, good. All right, you guys. So thank you, everybody. I'm sorry there's some people that are watching right now. I gotta go. This was quick. I just wanted to give my brothers a platform to have a conversation on this topic. You know, some things need to be talked about. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.